If you're watching this video, you're either an attorney or probably going through a divorce, a family law case. And you're inquiring about what a Moore-Marsden calculation is. And in the state of California, when an individual owns a property prior to marriage and then gets married, there may be a community interest in that home, or it could be another type of property. And so when we are looking at that calculation, there's several factors that you need to be aware of and that we need as both an appraiser and a broker. Number one is we need to know the original purchase price, the acquisition price, when that spouse purchased that property. So typically we need a closing statement, a mortgage statement. They may or may not have that depending upon how good they say, how much paperwork they saved, and their records. The second item that we're going to need is that we're going to need the date of marriage, and we're going to need the valuation of that time, the value of that property as of the date of marriage. And the other item we're going to need is we're going to need a current fair market value of that particular property. And then the other component is we need to know what the date of separation is. And to explain it in the simplest format is that you have two individuals that when they got married became one, and there's a community interest. So what we're looking for is to determine how much money the community gets, right? The community, that's going to be the portion of the appreciation of the market value from the time that they got married to the current market value. And also we need to know what the community paid down in the principal from the date of marriage to the date of separation. And so it can be very complex if there's multiple refinances with cash out. It can be very complex if during the course of the marriage there were improvements or construction added to the property. Let me give you an example. Many times, particularly an attorney or a CPA will use a Zillow or Z estimate to determine the fair market value of the home. And sometimes they'll go back, because the estimate will go back, I believe, up to 10 years, and they'll pull the value from that number. However, that appraiser, possibly that attorney or that CPA failed to really ask the questions to the parties. What was the home's condition back when you got married? And there's numerous times where clients have had additions to the home after the date of marriage. They've added pool and a spa. They've done major remodels. They've added, I've had homes where they added stables, horse stables that go into the current market value, but as of the date of marriage did not exist. But they assume, or they just figure out that, hey, you know what, the home has a pool and spa and horse stables now and a barn, and therefore 10 years ago had the same thing, and they don't back that out. So when we're doing our appraisal analysis, we have to ask those particular questions. And then when we go back and do what's called a retrospective appraisal, we're looking at data 10 years ago, we say, well, this pool and spa did not exist, this barn didn't exist, and this is the way the home looked like back then. Sometimes we'll have old MLS records when they bought the house. Sometimes the clients will have photos. We need that information to figure out what the market value was at the date of marriage, right? And then we need to look at it as is and figure out what that value is to perform that calculation.